Hello friend, it's Tonton. In today's video, we're gonna do Gen 4 guides. Gen 4 is a very interesting generation. You start to have a lot of heroes, and with the change of, like, the more we understand the game, the more actually Gen 4 is valuable. We used to say that Gen 4 is not really good, even the previous gen, but as we've seen together, you have very good heroes like Mia, Flint are very useful for free-to-play low spender. Geronimo as a spender, or Natalia can be used on bear trap forever. That kind of stuff, right? So low generation are a lot more exciting today with our current understanding of the game. And that's exactly the case with Gen 4. Usually what you will find in Gen 4 in the advice of people that, if you look at guides that are 6 months, a year, 2 years old, is like, okay, you do your lucky wheel as a free to play, you get Lynn. So you have 4 options, right? Infantry, you have Ahmose, then you have Lynn from the lucky wheel, and you have Reina, right? Reina is the most expensive to do. She's from the Hall of Heroes. Ahmose, you get some shards from the Hall of Chief kind of event. So, King of Asvin and SVS prep at that stage, and Lynn is a lucky wheel hero. That's where you get them. So the guide will tell you free to play, you go for Lynn, you put her 4-5 star. She's not amazing, she's decent, she's okay. And then, you forget Ahmose. Ahmose is bad. Nobody wants Ahmose. And then maybe you do Reina. Reina, she's great in arena. That will be where we were, a year ago, 6 months ago, in terms of knowledge, for most of us at least. I'm pretty sure some people knew better already, but it was not like common knowledge, I guess. So now we know a lot better. So Lynn, let's take with the lucky wheel, either free to play, either low spender. You should spin the wheel 70 times every event. For many reasons, because that will guarantee you a decent hero. They are all decent, even if some are better than the other for the lucky wheel. So you can spend, spin 30 or 40 times on Tuesday, 30 or 40 times on Wednesday. So you will complete as well these days for the minimum rewards. On the day you spin 40, you will complete it. On the day you spin 30, you won't, and you will need to use a tiny bit of, whatever you use on that day to complete the event. So that's a very nice way to get your heroes to 4 stars, plus you do your daily rewards. So that's one of the very cool things to do. So you should do Lynn. Lynn overall, she's doing damage up, but she has 40% chance to do 50% damage, when Mia is 50-50%. So Mia is a bit better. So she's falling a bit behind at the rally joiner, or at the, that kind of thing. Mia is a Lancer hero from Gen 3 at the reminder, but that's a bit, not as good. So people usually do not choose Lynn for joining rallies, but she has, she boosts damage. She has damage dealt increase, and I think that's all troop. Damage dealt by all enemy troops. So that's a defensive skill, right? And she has attack up, right? For 3 attacks, stackable. So overall, people like Lynn for rally leaders offensively. Even if she has a defensive widget, she's a good offensive hero in some ways because of the damage buff she has. So she's an option. You might still want to use Alonso if he's maxed with his offensive widget. You will have to test out what works for you based on your situation and the heroes and the opponent and stuff like that. But she's a good option for rally leaders. Offense, defense, she's okay. Then she's good for solo march. People love her for solo march, like Foundry, Canyon, that kind of things. Arena, she's kind of average. She do not have area of effect damage, right? She has damage up here, she does damage. She has some buff and stuff, some healing and stuff. So overall, like I mentioned in my Gen 3 guides, Lynn is very good in arena if you have area of effect on other heroes. So let's say you have Greg or you have Alonso. Maybe you still use Molly from Gen 1, so you have a lot of area of effect damage, AoE, we call it in games usually. If you are lacking that, because you replace Molly by Mia, and you just have Alonso or Greg, you have only one, and your infantry heroes are not doing that much, then Lynn might not be that good. But she's decent in that case, where you have decent AoE damage. So she's an average plus hero. She's not a great joiner, but she's good for solo march. She's an option for rally leaders. She's gonna be a good support for your arena and exploration team, even if she would not carry it as much as Alonso, for example, in Gen 2. But overall, you want her because that's a big progression from Greg and Alonso in terms of stats. So you will be able to use her in some cases for sure. For Bear, some people will tell you Alonso is still better because of the offensive widget, and some people will tell you that Lynn is better, but she's a very good alternative. If you didn't wait for Alonso, you will use her basically. She's really good in that sense. She's kind of, overall she's decent everywhere. She's not excelling at anything, but that's okay. So Ahmose used to be a hero that people dislike a lot. Everyone was telling you skip Ahmose. I did Ahmose 5-star. So there are a few reasons for that, and I want to talk about it. And I regularly find myself suggesting to do Ahmose to 4 stars to many of you asking about heroes. Why is that? The main reason is Gen 1 you have Sergei, Gen 2 you have Flint as a free-to-player auto-low spender. Gen 3 you should skip Logan. Logan is bad and still considered as bad today even with the current meta. And then, so you don't have any current Gen heroes, and the next one you will get is Hector from the Lucky Wheel, is Gen 5, but you will get Hector, because it's a Lucky Wheel hero, it will start to be strong at the end of Gen 5. So between, early Gen 4 to end of Gen 5, you are with Gen 1 and Gen 2 heroes. So with infantry, which are your main hero, and infantry is really important because you will see that in most marches, you use, 45 to 60% infantry. So your infantry hero is really important. So that's why Ahmose is actually a good choice for me in that sense. The hero itself is not the best. The hero itself is not great, and now is considered a bit better, actually, in the new meta kind of situation. But because you are lacking infantry heroes so bad, that it will be a good pick to put to 4 stars for your arena, for your exploration, for your solo march, everywhere. What is changing regarding Ahmose is if you look, let's look at arena first. Fire friendly damage taken down, so we're reducing the damage for 2 seconds. He is doing damage up, and he has some health up right for 5 seconds. Attack 42% of health up. So after casting Stunga's protection, Ahmose will recover attack times, so 42% of his attacks as health over 5 seconds, so he's healing. The issue with like infantry hero is that they die very fast, so even if they are healing a bit, they often get crushed. It's rarely a great skill. So that's, that's not amazing. Wells, that have Ahmose, they were all happy with Ahmose as far as I can tell when we were Gen 4. I don't know well that was not happy with Ahmose again, because Logan, most people skip him. Then you have Geronimo is Gen 1, Natalia maybe Gen 1, Flynn Gen 2. So Gen 4 is a lot stronger overall. So people like him. But the thing that changed a lot for Ahmose right now is that first skill, because we used to play in a world where we use 4 Jesse, 4 Patrick for defense or offense. And now you will want 2 Patrick maximum, and you will want different heroes, because we understand that there are diminishing return when you use the same hero, right? That's a big issue. So the bottom line is you will want to use 1 or 2 Patrick. And what do you have in Gen 4? But you have Ahmose, and Ahmose is quite decent because Lancer and Marksman damage taken down up to 30%, right? So he's reducing the damage they take. That's not that impressive, but that's okay. What is most important is that infantry damage taken down up to 70%. So it's not a permanent skill because it lasts 2 turns, but you might want to have 1 Ahmose, 1 Sergei, 1 Patrick, and what are the other options we've seen before. So you might want 1 Ahmose, that's a good one. You might actually want 1 Reina, even in defense, but we will see that in a moment. And that might be your spender. So as a free-to-play low spender, you might want to either do Reina or Ahmose. You might not be able to do both, but you might want to do one of them, and I'll talk about Reina in a sec. You can have 1 or 2 Patrick. You can have 1 Sergei, 1 Baiti. Like, these are different skills. I mean, Sergei, Baiti, Bokan, they're all the same. They are damage reduction, right? But Patrick is health up. The other one are damage reduction. And our friend Ahmose is damage reduction on some troops with the different percentages, right? So it's not exactly the same skill. So the fact is very unlikely that there is a diminishing return. So he's used that way. I was watching some content. I forgot which other content creator it was, but he was basically mentioning that in Gen 4, if you go for playing like 60-40, which you play in defense, some people decide not to play that offensively, so they mostly forget their marksman. That's a bit sad for your bear damage, but that's really good. He will consider doing Ahmose because as your march as a rally leader or as a rally joiner, because you have that 70% reduction. That 70 for infantry and that 30 on lancer. So that's a lot of damage reduction. So he's really good. He's considered good for that. That's why the current meta makes him a hero you can use actually, contrary to just for Patrick like we used to do. And people keep reporting on my Discord like far better results with a mix of heroes compared to for Patrick, or and even you can mix JC, because JC is a damage up, and so you can mix JC on offense, with Seiyun. That is something else. Attack up, right? Damage up and attack up is not the same thing. So you can mix 2 JC, you can mix 1 Seiyun, for example, with it, and you can mix with it with 1 Reina. So Reina is usually advised to take if you want a very good hero. The downside of Reina is she's a Lancer hero. So my suggestion is often to go for extra infantry and extra marksmen, because you need 2 infantry and 2 marksmen in your arena, in your exploration. So I rarely go for extra Lancers. But there is 2 buts. Skills, she's amazing for arena. So area of effect, she does a lot. She has some dodge, so she can survive. And she has some extra damage, but overall, even if she has only 1 area of effect damage, she's really good in arena. Like in Gen 4, if you have someone that has Reina against you and you don't have one, you will likely lose. That's simple. So you avoid Reina when you are in Gen 4. You basically look at the opponents. Okay, he has Reina, I'm not playing them. It's like the Alonso of Gen 4, when Alonso in Gen 2 was like, he's a make or break for arena if you play against him. So Reina is kind of the same. So she's really good in arena, even if her skills are not particularly looking amazing like that, but she is amazing and people love her in arena. What we understand now is like she has a normal attack damage up. So you have the skill of your heroes, you have some procs of your troops, which I'm actually not sure they're considered normal attacks, but your troops have some proc that they can do. So, if you look at your marksman, they have a chance to do extra damage and stuff like that. So these are probably all of that, and the skill of your heroes are probably not considered normal attack. So that will be another type of multiplier for your damage. So you could have 1 JC, 1 Seiyun, 1 Reina, and whichever, maybe 2 Reina, maybe 2 JC, whatever works best. At the time we didn't know that, so we did not use Reina. So I did not do extensive testing back in Gen 4, because we were just, when you was using for JC or for Patrick at the time. So we kind of lack the experience of going through that and testing things, right? But you could use 1 or 2 Reina, 1 or 2 JC, and 1 Seiyun, for example. That will be really, really good. That will be a really good option. You could have a Mia as well, either if it's a rally leader having it. Again, you don't want to stack Mia, because Mia, that's the 50% chance. That's not in grid. You cannot, it's not adding up. So it's always 50% chance to get the curse, right? You can never get beyond 50%. It's just the effect of the curse that is stacking. So you just want 1 Mia per rally, because there is like a diminishing return on their damage taken by, and plus you do not increase the chance to get the curse. So it's really like you really lose a lot of potential if you use multiple Mia. So it's either 1 in the rally leader or 1 in the rally joiner eventually if you use Mia. So you can have 1 Mia, 1 Reina, 1 JC, 1 Seiyun, and you will do a lot more damage than 4 JC. Very, very, very likely. And that's what we have people keep reporting basically. So overall, if I had to summarize Gen 4, Lynn is your easy to get heroes. I will get her, use my gems to get her, spin the wheel. I would not consider maxing her. She's not that good, to be honest, especially if you have Alonso and Greg and stuff like that. Sorstar is good enough. You can do a bit of widget, but it's not gonna change much. It's a defensive widget, so it's not really interesting for bear and stuff like that. Our friend Ahmose, you will use him. You could be used as a rally joiner, and it will be good for you overall as a free-to-play low spender, because you are lacking infantry. What you will do with infantry is you will have Ahmose Gen 4, then you will have Hector Gen 5, so you will have a very strong march at the end of Gen 5. You will likely skip Gen 6 Ming, and you will get for Edis Gen 7. So overall, between Gen 4 and 7, you have 3 picks that are really good, and that will make you a lot stronger in arena in exploration, because you will have current gen heroes available. when before you used to have Gen 1 Sergey and Gen 2 Flint, and that was terrible for you as a free-to-play low spender. And that was really rough. And Reina, if you skip Gen 1 to 3 and you don't invest a lot, you just 4-star the bare minimum, you transfer a bit, like I've done, you might be able to do Gen 4 on 4-star all of them, because you see I've been able to do Ahmose and Lynn 5-star, so I could have went for a bit less stars in these and do Reina. It might be a bit tricky for most of you, but that could be something you consider eventually. But Reina is a really good rally joiner for Bear as well, because Bear, it's a very short combat. The skill of heroes do not do much damage. I always said that you want heroes that have good skill, but because they buff the troops, the damage of your troop, not because the skill itself is doing a lot of damage, because the skill you pick on Flint, on Mia, they are buffing the damage of your troops. Which is really important. So that's buffing the damage of your troops a lot. So that's really good for a rally joiner for Bear. Some people will tell you that actually for some generation, Reina is doing more damage than Mia. I never got Reina, so I cannot do even test. She's like 3 stars and my Mia is 4 stars, so it's not even close. Most people will say that Mia is better. Some guides will tell you that Reina is better for 1 or 2 generations, so Gen 4, Gen 5, and then they suggest Mia again, Gen 6, so that's a bit inconsistent, right? And from my viewer, the consensus seems to be that Mia is better than Reina. So if you want to test it out, test it out. If you test it, do it for 1 or 2 bears, track all the data, and all of that to be sure which is the best. But it seems to be more, because Mia is a terrible rally joiner for you joining other rallies. So it makes a lot more sense to use Mia in your own rally and use Reina to join someone else. Especially if you have 4, 5, 6 strong players in your alliance, then you can use Jesse, Jasser, Siyun, Reina the rally joiner. That's probably the only one that will be allowed. You use Mia in your own rally and you send 2 marches without any heroes, and that's gonna work really well for you. That's gonna be amazing. You're gonna do a ton of damage and you're gonna buff the rallies in your alliance. But that's it for Gen 4. They are all interesting heroes with the current meta, so you cannot pick all, but I hope that you have some guidance about what to do. I don't go in depth into the skills and the details, because that's when you read the skills and you don't know how it plays out, it's always hard to it's not really actually helpful. So I hope to try to make it shorter. Hopefully it's helpful. Let me know in the comments. Let me know which one you got or which one you will get if you are Gen 3, and expect Gen 5, coming early next week as well. Many people have been asking Gen 5 and 6, so I'll try to get them somewhere next week. But we might have a seasonal event apparently. Our friend Shield Gaming mentioned that he got some screenshots from that, so it might be a tiny bit delayed if I have to cover a seasonal event in between. But thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Consider joining the Discord, consider subscribing, and thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.